I don't know why I started then, but I did. And I'm not going to stop and pause this recording or edit. That's my new rule. I'm just going to talk. And I might screw things up and I might, stutter. I do that occasionally. But I'm just going to let things kind of, riff and not try and edit too much, because then this process of communicating and expressing myself becomes a bit of a drag. And I don't want it to be, because I love sharing information. And, it's just that whole kind of overcoming that perfectionism. Things don't have to be shiny and perfect all the time. And I think that as creatives, that's something that we tend to struggle with a little bit. Perfectionism and keeping things super simple. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, keeping things simple, letting go of the things that no longer feel joyful, feel a little bit challenging. Challenging is good, don't get me wrong, but I think if things feel like way too hard, there has to be a simpler way. And I think, I'm going to enjoy talking about this, because this is something that I have really gone through over the last few weeks, is this idea of letting these things go, these ideas of, our past selves that we had, that we projected into the future, that this is what we wanted to do or what we wanted to be. But then we get to this point and we're like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. And that was a really big lesson over the last couple of weeks for me. So I hope some of these, ideas and my story resonates with you. So just taking you back a couple of weeks ago, as you know, I sent out this newsletter, in December, kind of outlining all the things that I was planning to do for this, 2022, and all the things that I did in 2021. And it was so funny, because even reading that email back myself, it kind of gives me anxiety. And because it's just so pumped of adrenaline, of like this kind of very masculine, action-based, we tend to kind of exist either in the masculine or the feminine. And I think at the end of last year, I was just fully in the masculine mode. But now, because I've had a little bit of a rest over the December holidays, I'm starting to embrace flow again. That real feminine energy of, just sort of kind of going a little bit easier and just sort of letting life energy flow through me. So less action, more just letting things be. Then it came to, sort of midway through Jan, I got a little bit freaked out by being in the feminine and the flow. So I returned to that full-on masculine, but I guess it was actually more just really, connecting to that fear energy of like, what the fuck? I don't have a steady income this year. So, as you know, I quit my teaching, full-time teaching in a classroom job. So I'm just doing full Fearless Singer. So teaching one-on-one singing lessons, and of course my beautiful programs that I offer as well. There was this moment of, oh my God, what am I going to do? And, gigs are getting cancelled and all that sort of thing. And isn't it funny how when we're in that sort of fear energy, we create these really ridiculous stories, about ourselves. So I convinced myself that, you know what, I need to just go and study. I need to go and do another master's. That's what I need to do. That's how I'm going to take control, is I'm going to get myself into more HECS debt and pretty much really, overburden myself with more deadlines and that kind of thing. So look, the master's that I chose would be fantastic. It would be a beautiful thing to study, and it would really complement what I do here. But I have three pretty full teaching days. And the other days, you know, I was planning on using to build other things. So obviously create these videos, create my podcast, which is basically going to be these videos, just in audio form. And, you know, and be a creative, be a full-time creative. And yeah, so that was what I was sort of planning to do. Yet in order to sort of feel like I'm in more of a state of control, like I wanted to like sign up for more things to do. And I was really kind of oblivious to the fact that I was choosing something that really wasn't going to serve, you know, what I do here. You know, at this point in time, it might be something I might want to do later on. And I, you know, went forth and, you know, signed up, emailed relevant people, you know, to audition and that kind of thing. And then I decided to do some homework. So this was my homework because I have a wonderful music business coach. And she asked me to do, you know, my mission, purpose, a few key focus areas for this year, as well as some quarterly, you know, this is the stuff that I want to happen. And I started doing that. And that's when I discovered, oh my God, I can't do a master's degree. I started getting intense anxiety because I just realized it was completely, totally out of alignment with my key focuses for this year. So, you know, I hashed it out with Harvey, and then rung the relevant bodies and withdrew my application, and it was all good. But it was just a real reminder for me that I guess this idea of wanting to take control of, you know, an unsteady situation, you know, given being in business with, you know, in the midst of COVID and being in a creative business. This also feeling too, because when I really backtracked and gone, okay, well, why did you want to do a master's in this area? Oh, by the way, it was in vocal pedagogy. So I've done my graduate certificate in vocal pedagogy, which is a 6-month program, but I did my master's of music in jazz performance, which at the time was something that I really wanted to do. So I decided I wanted to go back and do the vocal pedagogy. But the amount that I got in that 6 months, plus all the professional development that I do, because we're so lucky here in Australia, and particularly here in Brisbane, we basically all the singing teachers, we're part of a club, but there's always incredible professional development opportunities. I get lessons from amazing people from the UK, so Dane Chelfin. I do a lot of reading. So really that last leg of the vocal pedagogy is, you know, it would be super helpful. But at this stage, it's like, well, mate, you kind of know enough. And the stuff that you don't know, you have the tools to go and find that information. And you know, that's what I do. But there was an element when I decided I wanted to do that. There was an element there of, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I know enough. I'm not good enough. And that was something else I wanted to talk about, is this idea of, you know, what are some of those beliefs that are running, you know, the show basically in our subconscious that are potentially sort of guiding you into areas that maybe you don't really need to be in. You know, it doesn't really, you think, okay, no, this feels good. Like, I mean, it's okay. I don't mind studying this course, or I don't mind being in this job, or, you know. But if you've got that kind of feeling of, like there is this kind of deep knowing of, oh, I think I want to be doing something else. This is not quite it. It's not quite it for me. I would really go deeper and go, okay, well, what is that about? Why are you there? What is a belief that got you there? And for me, like, I have to say a lot of the things that I've studied have always been about pleasing other people. You know, because I've always wanted to be that good girl. You know, I want to do the right thing by my family, my parents. There's that, and there's always that kind of, I want to do things because it makes me feel like I'm more credible. So yeah, maybe that could be like something just to be curious about. Ask yourself questions. Okay, I'm in a place, I'm doing this, and it's all right. Like it's got benefits. Like I'm getting paid, or it allows me to do this. But if there is this kind of feeling of, but this isn't it, I would explore that. And how do you explore that? I do a lot of this. So just, I'm not, to be honest, as much as I do say to people, journal it out, I'm not much of a journaler. I mean, I do dot points on a piece of paper. They're all around the house, in different parts of the house. So, it's probably not that helpful. But I do a lot of talking. I talk it out. I talk it out here on video. I share a lot on Instagram and in my Fearless Singers Facebook group. Talk to my best, dearest friend and my mum, that kind of thing. So maybe that's something that you can reflect upon. Is where you are at, is it really in alignment with your values? And if you don't know what your values are, ask yourself that too. What are my values? What do I feel good about advocating for? So that. And second, and I've kind of touched on this in the beginning, but also, are you filling up your schedule with stuff, more and more stuff that's also not in alignment as well? Is there a way that you can keep things super? Listen to my talk. I told you I would be stuttering and making weird noises throughout this. Is there ways that you can make things a little like clearer and simpler for yourself? So that's another thing too. I think those, feelings of not being enough or not doing enough is what kind of makes us, fill everything up and also try to overcomplicate things that don't need to be complicated. Being clear, if you're also another singing teacher or instrumental teacher watching this, and you want to venture out and do different things, like, are you keeping things really easy? Are you just, going, okay, well, I know how to do this. I'm going to try this first. Don't overthink it. Just do it. It could be that you want to start getting into teaching online courses. Why don't you offer, a workshop over Facebook? Keep it super simple. Set the date. Just do it. And yeah, that's my message really, is this idea of keeping things simple. Do the easiest thing just to get the ball rolling. I think when we have ideas and goals, we tend to overthink things first, but the actual truth is, if we actually just take small action, like really easy stuff, like don't think, if you're you want to be a singer and you want to get gigs, like, and you think, oh, well, I can't go and do that yet because I need demos and I need a website, I need promo photos, like all that stuff is very important, yes, but you don't need it to get started. All you need is a Facebook page, maybe, even if you want to do an Instagram, couple of nice selfies, do a couple of lives where you're playing your guitar and singing, or singing to a backing track, or start on TikTok, just doing a few little duets and riffs. So start small. And by the way, those things aren't that's still quite nerve inducing, so I do get that, but start with things that you can do right now, because what actually happens is momentum. It grows legs, those little things. We start building upon that, and it happens almost organically. And I think this idea of keeping things simple and choosing to do things that are in alignment with us, our values, what brings us joy, is also about really trusting ourselves. It all kind of ties in. Trust the process. Trust that when we do these little action steps, that things will happen from there. And what's actually really, really exciting is my Fearless Singer launch. Remembering last week I spoke about celebrating your successes, and something I never did was even did a launch party for Fearless Singer all those years ago, but it's happening in February. So February the 11th, Friday night. I've got our Fearless Singer Jazz Club members getting up and singing songs from the course. My beautiful students getting up and performing. And for some of them, it's going to be their first ever public performance. And that's a huge step. That's a simple thing that they can do. It's an opportunity for them to get up on stage, perform with a band. And I'm telling you, from there, if those, people want to, that can grow legs. That can keep evolving. And it's really about trusting that and making really clear intentions that this is what I want to do. And it might not be on a professional level. It might not be that I want to, perform all the time and gig, as just a full-time singer. It might be that this is what I want to do as a hobby. This brings me joy, being around people and sharing what I've learnt. But for some, it might be that, no, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life and I want to get paid for it. And so you bloody well should, because singing and performing and putting any kind of creative output out to the world is one of the most important jobs in the world. So on that note, I'll leave it there. Keep things simple. Keep things in alignment with your values. What brings you joy? Ask yourself those, yucky, hard questions like, am I just doing this because it's going to make my mum proud? I've had literally, that was my teaching gig at school, was, wanting to make my beautiful mum proud. But luckily my mum's proud of me regardless of what I do. So really, digging deep, excavating. And know that when we keep things simple, take those little steps, that it'll just grow legs. It'll grow legs, the momentum will come. All right, so signing off. Lots of love to you all. Talk to you soon.